suggesting changes to the American political system. Introduction. Pluralism is the most promising concept for developing a democratic polity. However, elite theory best describes the current situation of the American political system since, in one way or another, only privileged individuals with education and experience are in supreme power. In addition, power is usually run by those capable of investment and long-term stakeholder support. A transition to pluralism could ensure an equal distribution of the population, but elitism focuses on using high levels of competition to achieve influence over U.S. policy. Elitism influences policymaking, and it no longer consists of the opinions of America's population as much as it should be. Discussion. I want to change a part of the judicial system, namely the term of office for life. Instead, make it long-term and limit both age and experience. This would reduce the risks of fraud, misconduct, and corruption and ensure effective rotation. However, at the same time, there is the problem of disclosure of any cases or associated risks from inappropriate behavior by judges. The amendments should also affect the health sector because it is currently a weak system in which insurance and tariffs are too expensive for the population. Adapting them and improving integration into society is necessary, after which improvements can be expected. The national level must be responsible for shaping the policies in these areas because they are in the interest of society. Some people in society want to marry same-sex, and the interest is to ensure the right to freedom of expression and family. In addition, the legalization of marijuana affects where healthcare taxes ultimately go. It could also relate to the level of danger and prevalence affecting the population's quality of life. Finally, limiting the maximum speed limit is of direct interest to the entire community's safety, as it is part of improving safety and promoting caution on the roads. Among the common restrictions is the right to free speech, which can be violated if necessary. Several times the courts have supplemented this ruling to find a middle ground, but I do not think it is reasonable. Freedom of speech is either there or violated, and the amendments only make it worse. Another example is carrying and possessing firearms, which are regulated differently in different states. On the one hand, it is necessary, given the crime rate, and the courts allow it. On the other, guns do not necessarily go to someone for protection, and then the search for balance is pointless. In my opinion, the decision continues to be implemented at this point, but there are significant delays in obtaining citizenship. With solid border protections and heightened flight controls, many people face pressure to stop them from crossing the border. The country is also not doing enough to support parents of children born in the United States. For example, some people moved from Japan and had a child born with citizenship. They do not have enough protection and support that the U.S. can give the child by birthright. The mechanism for obtaining citizenship by birthright for children born in U.S. territory needs to be reconsidered. Public opinion may or may not reflect reality in the civic community. Its rationality exists in either case since it is not formed by one person but by a whole group of citizens. The size of such a group varies, but in one way or another, it emerges at the expense of common loud ideas. Public opinion can be used in decision-making by the state because otherwise, there is a violation of the people's will. If the state does not value the opinion of citizens and does not discuss it, people will lose faith in elections or politics, and anarchy will ensue. Attitudes toward political activity are shaped by the resources available in the community to educate and provide the freedom to elect and be elected. Some people have an environment and family that compels them to encounter political campaigns and participate in production processes regularly. Instead, others are withdrawn, prone to melancholy, and a spitting image of their lives. Moreover, there are many more people without an opinion than they seem and are more amorphous in their choices. Unfortunately, to increase turnout and improve the quality of political savvy, the state must educate and instill the value of politics in schools. The media seeks to create news or a public precedent that will resonate and allow politicians to manipulate public opinion in their favor. The media is not always willing and able to provide complete information. For example, yellow newspapers can destroy the reputation of individuals. Also, each media outlet can interpret the information provided differently, and then the meaning will slip away. Nevertheless, the media can help notify people with quality information if they try to improve the quality of the text and the information they receive. There can be media spins and bribery, and therefore any information needs to be cross-checked. Although news control is part of the campaign, it is sometimes too pronounced and brutal. Political parties help group ideas and opinions from society into currents and types. This contributes to overall democracy and allows for diversity in the community. They fulfill social needs such as freedom of will and speech, meetings for discussion, and community unity. They also satisfy the public desire to contribute to the formation of public policy and the development of the country and society. Political parties are relatively good for society because they unite people with similar views, give them a voice, and communicate. That is the way to go if we want an absolute democracy because, otherwise, we can forget its purpose. In forming an interest group, management and the organization of its population play an essential role. These two components are formative aspects of groups because they allow them to fulfill their goal of advancing their interests in politics. Increased voice can be achieved by including an agenda in government discussions, disseminating information, and providing evidence about the relevance of the group's fundamental interests. Interest groups come in a variety of forms, which determines their range of influence on government and on opportunities to advance interests. I would say they are more of a positive part because they help manage the balance and create ethical issues that allow democracy to develop. Conclusion. The legislative process consists of a sequential idea, then a proposal and its consideration, after which the decision to pass is made by voting. Characteristics include a strict, orderly process for adopting a new law, the decision-making bodies being a parliament, lengthy deliberation, and fairness of voting. The process is currently working well since the sequence of the whole process is strictly observed, and regular checks show that the deadlines for making decisions have not been violated. Nevertheless, it seems necessary to introduce additional stages of discussion, which would allow the feasibility of the proposed ideas to be evaluated and argued.